Today's program brought to you by Nolans, Arkansas. Traditional Cajun and Creole fare and delicious food like you've never had before. Try them out on Main Street in Jonesboro in our downtown area. It's the Lavender Color Building, and tell them NEA Report sent you by. Several disturbing incidents recently reported at the Waffle House in Jonesboro. We actually have video of one of those we're going to show you, but that one was on July 1st, so if you'll bear with us a minute, I want to first tell you about the most recent, which was reported just 3 days ago. It was a shots fired call that was reported in the parking lot of the Waffle House, 2905 Phillips Drive in Jonesboro. A caller advised that a black male wearing a brown shirt had a gun, and he fired the gun off. That was according to one of the calls that came in. Officers responded to the area in the form of at least 10 different police officers. They responded at about 2:20 or 2:22 was when actually, to be correct, 2:20 was when the first officer arrived. But by the time 2:40 had arrived or so, all the officers had been cleared from the scene. That was not the first incident that had taken place at that exact location this month. Well, an incident that took place on July 1st at the very same location also almost ended in a much worse case. Take a look now. You can see some type of verbal disagreement that escalates far into something worse than verbal. As punches begin to be thrown, there's going to come a moment where you can see one of the women reach for and grab a gun. Now, I paused it right there, but you can actually see I'm going to put the mouse pointer right where the barrel of the pistol is. I'm going to hit play again so you can continue to see this all play out, as this was video that was posted to Facebook and was sent along to NEA Report. As I mentioned, this took place on July 1st, or at least that's when the video itself was posted. May have happened just a couple hours before that, the night before or such. Nonetheless, the entire parking lot full of folks, and the entire parking lot then empties out as people start to run away. Pulling a gun out, though, in the midst of just a verbal disagreement. It's possibly why we're seeing more and more of these shooting incidences in our town. Now, a very bizarre story out of Goobertown where two men are under arrest facing serious charges, felony aggravated assault charges, after they allegedly kidnapped a couple while they were skinny dipping. The couple, not the suspects. The two suspects that we're looking at are both in Craighead County Detention Center right now on a $100,000 bond each. Jeffrey Allen Johnston, 49, and John Wayne Price, 42. We're looking at two suspects who were arrested by officers at a steel building. A report from the Jonesboro Sun said earlier today in today's edition. It took place in Goobertown last Friday evening. Two individuals, including a 43-year-old Truman man, were kidnapped at gunpoint while taking a nude swim at a private pond. Now, aside from the bacteria and such in the private pond, it's hotter than anything outside right now. That would not seem like a particularly bad idea, until these two suspects came along and made it a terrifying incident for the individuals. The 43-year-old Truman man said he'd been beaten with a gun, threatened with death, held against his will, and said his partner was still being held by the kidnappers. It was apparently somewhere the 600 block of County Road 792 that this incident all began to unfold. Of course, we're talking about on last Friday evening. It was around then that apparently these two suspects, according to at least the couple, approached and, with guns pointed, accused them of stealing. The couple were ordered out of the pond, it says in the report, and were told to return to the shop building with them. This is just terrifying to imagine, right? At some point in this whole thing, one of the two men smashed the windshield of the victim's truck. Once with the officers, of course, the things calmed down a little bit more. He was able to provide, the victim was able to provide more information about the guys that we're looking at right now and what all had happened. It says that the deputies had actually previously dealt with an incident at that location before as well. So officers accompanied deputies to that location and found several folks there, according to the report, including the folks that we're looking at, that we're showing you their photos there from the inmate roster of the Craighead County Detention Center. A second victim, a 36-year-old Brooklyn woman, was found. It says that the two gentlemen we're showing you initially tried to run. Well, I can tell you, I'm not much of a runner. However, I doubt that these two guys are either, and they did not get too very far. They stopped whenever they were ordered to do so as well. It says that the victim was found hiding behind a cabinet in the office in the shop. She said that things had gotten crazy and said that she had had a gun pointed at her and had been threatened to be forced to shoot her father in front of her mother. I mean, what kind of insanity are we talking about here? She had no apparent injuries. Johnston apparently reportedly admitted to pointing the gun, breaking the windshield. It says that the suspects, of course, were arrested, taken to Craighead County Detention Center. As I mentioned to you over that beginning of the report, the bond was set at $100K each. They're facing charges of aggravated assault, first-degree kidnapping, possession of a firearm by a felon, and misdemeanor criminal mischief. They've both been, as I mentioned, charged preliminarily with aggravated assault, the felony charge, and they're going to be assigned August court dates. It's on the 23rd. They're still in custody as of right now. News now about the O'Reilly hospitality-managed Embassy Suites and Red Wolf Convention Center in Jonesboro, as we have the first official hire announced by the forthcoming hotel and convention center that it seems like it took us quite a long time to finally get to in Jonesboro, with a few hurdles. More on that another time. But it's an announcement that there is a lot of excitement about from the folks at the hospitality management group, O'Reilly's group, announcing that Shawnee Carter is the new director of sales for Embassy Suites and the Red Wolf Convention Center. There she is, right there. Currently under construction and expected to be finished in 2019 on the campus of Arkansas State University, located, of course, Red Wolf Boulevard. Her contributions and dedication to the project from the start are described as invaluable in her new role, and she says she's ecstatic to join the team. She actually joined Arkansas State in 2013 as chief of staff for the chancellor after several years of work with economic development groups across Arkansas, according to the press release. She was appointed as the executive director of the A-State Delta Center for Economic Development in the spring of 2015. Lots of qualifications for the role, to say the very least. Congratulations to her and to the O'Reilly Hospitality Management Group, and quite frankly, to everybody in Jonesboro. Because even though this is taking a little bit to happen, we're just about to have a convention center. And that's good news for all of us. If you've never seen a radio tower raised up from the ground, it is a sight to behold. And this afternoon, folks got to see that from KLEK, who got their new 100-foot radio tower installed. It's made possible thanks to a gift from First National Bank, and they're calling it the First National Bank Tower. FNB donating in excess of $25,000 for the new broadcast tower to be erected there at the KLEK studios in Jonesboro. If you've never listened, it's 102.5 FM, and they do a lot of great work in the community. They go out of their way to make people informed, and they live stream a lot of events too, including this one, which they didn't mind us sharing with our viewers here on NEA Report. I'll frame forward in the video just a second so we can show you as the tower went from being horizontal to vertical, pointing up at the dark skies that we saw in Jonesboro this afternoon. And then once they stood the tower up in that location, they basically had to walk it inch by inch from where it's at, with the crane, of course, helping, to where it would eventually go. And I'll frame forward here so you guys can see this a little bit faster, because this was the final location, quite a bit, well, at least 30, 40 feet away from where it was raised up initially. It's a different process if you've never seen one of these towers installed. I'm not certain that I recall ever having done that myself, but we got to see it today, and we know it's a big moment for our friends at KLEK, so we send a huge congratulations out to them from NEA Report. The state of Arkansas is doing more than ever to try to increase and promote tourism to our natural state. Arkansas.com, a sort of new website, a revamped, I think is the right word because it's already been around. It had 4.3 million visitors last year, and this year it's going to be doing something a little bit new. Tourism-related businesses are going to be able to advertise themselves on Arkansas.com. Obviously, with a lot of people visiting the website every year, it's going to give people a chance to promote what they have to offer to potential visitors to Arkansas. It's a neat story from our friends at Talk Business and Politics, talkbusiness.net, if you want to read more information about this one. But it's considered to be something that's going to be a lot less expensive than traditional media for these tourism-related businesses. Pretty nice traffic numbers, too. It's right around the neighborhood of NEA Report's traffic numbers, and funny enough, our business model is pretty much the same thing, offering considerably less expensive advertisements than the traditional media and reaching as many, and in many cases, more people than they do. That's the plan for Arkansas.com, and the Arkansas Department of Parks and Tourism says that it paid $609,000 for the new website, including an extranet component for internal use by employees. By comparison, when I made NEA Report 2 years ago, it cost $300.
Haley Norris, realtor.
No.
Should I make my hair go like this? Whether you need to buy, sell, or lease. Haley, can I use my hands, or is that where are my hands? Where do they go?
Just say
Haley.
Just say Haley.
Whether you need my expertise. Haley Norris, realtor, or even do a commercial lease. Haley Norris, realtor. Should I say Remax Real Estate Center or not? Is that too salesy?
No, that's good.
My average days on market is just 50 days. You need my expertise, and that means I'm putting more money back in your pocket.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
It's time for your New Wave Wireless weather forecast, home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. We have a few chances for showers out there this afternoon as they're scattered across northeast Arkansas, but they're not expected to really linger around very long. Although when you do see a few, you may see that storm be kind of strong. I've got the shower graphic up, but please don't consider thunderstorms out of the question. They are very possible tonight. Before 7 p.m. is when the weather forecast from the National Weather Service expects to see them mostly. Low around 75 tonight. Wednesday is slight chance for showers and thunderstorms, but it is just 20%. Otherwise, mostly sunny, a high around 94. Going to be another super hot day with those heat indices in the mid 100s, around 106. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high around 93. Friday, 20% chance of thunderstorms, mostly sunny and a high near 93. And Saturday, a 20% chance of thunderstorms with mostly sunny skies and a high around 94. Mostly cloudy in Jonesboro at the moment and 90 degrees outside. So before we head out the door, guess what? We got our first Patreon backer yesterday. Yeah, I just threw it in the show, and our buddy Lucas decided to join the team, and he put us only 9 backers away from a special report. If we get 10 Patreon backers, I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and throw caution to the wind and start doing some of the reports that a lot of folks out there have been asking me to do. 10 backers means that there's going to be a special Patreon-only report for people, a tell-all, an exclusive detailing every experience, positive and negative, with individuals in the community, people, names that you know, folks that you know out there like Ryan Vaughn and others. Have you ever wondered what those folks are really like, besides the fact that they act super cheery and nice? You know they're really not when the cameras turn off, right? Well, I'll tell you about the time he tried to fight me, the guy I just mentioned. I'll tell you a lot of other stories, too, once we get to this backer goal of 10 Patreons, or patrons, I should say. And there's other really neat goals, too. If we start getting a whole bunch, I may burn the world down, so to speak, around here based on some of the stuff we're ready to report. Anyway, if you want to become a patron, just go to patreon.com/NEA Report. I would Anyway, if you want to become a patron, just go to patreon.com/NEA Report. I would love to be able to connect with you and maybe even have lunch with you every month for a very special private gathering for our top backers only. Thanks everybody for joining us on NEA Report. I'm Stan Morris and you're up to date. Have a great evening.